Hi? Oh. Tom sent me to continue the story. I'm Andrew, sir. Andrew Garfield Hall. Another Peter Parker. Glad to have you here. It's an honor, Mr. Stark. Tom can't come right now, he have some Spider-Manning to do, but he asked me if I could continue the story. Well, it's about time, kid. Sit down and talk. So, where did Tom left? You mean when he left me with a cliffhanger? It's when the Vulture calls and said they had Aunt May as hostage. Okay, I'm gonna tell this in my perspective. After the call, Spider-Holland became rattled, he was furious and he was about to break into crying. Spider-Maguire stood up and told us to go get his aunt. And he will go face Electro. As I observed, Electro was suddenly nowhere to be found, but the only light source I could see is from the Times Square. Well, that seems a trap. I told Spider-Maguire to stay alert. We then part ways. Spider-Maguire is in pursuit to Times Square, while me and Spider-Holland furiously swings to Queens. As we get further away from Manhattan, we heard a terrifying scream. A scream no man is capable of. We didn't stop as I saw the look in Spider-Holland's eyes from earlier. He was so worried about his aunt more than the missing relics or the possible enemies. Same goes to me when I found out that Bucky killed my parents. Ugh. I feel the stress again. We arrived at his home. It was very dark. He kicked the door open, he yelled for Aunt May, but as soon as he enters the room, the Vulture shows up. Oh no. His eyes light up green, his wings was so wide, and he stood there. Spider-Holland yells in anger and attacked the Vulture, but the Vulture swooped into him, carrying the spider into the air. The roof destroyed, and as soon as I leaped into the air, the whole apartment was electrified. I was trapped inside. Is that Electro? I fell on the ground, seeing the Vulture with Spider-Holland flying away, and as I stood up, I saw a bomb coming right at me. I quickly jumped away, but boom. The bomb knocked me off to the wall. My vision fades away as I hear a terrifying laugh. It was the Goblin. Oh crap, you are outnumbered. His laugh is coming from many directions. As I explore the room to search for him, I found nothing but the darkness of his laugh. Then suddenly, another bomb was tossed. Boom! I was caught by it. My mask torn apart. My suit was damaged. I was on the floor. I finally saw the Goblin, walking towards at me, laughing like a maniac. You took everything away from me, now let's take away yours too, the Goblin said as a huge amount of smoke came from his gauntlet. I inhaled the smoke as it bugs my mind. My thoughts were irritated and my brain is drugged. What did you do to me? I asked the madman. He then replied, the same thing you did to me. Desperation. He then kicked me across the room. My vision is circulating. The world is shaking. I then hear a familiar voice, screaming, Peter. But who is it? I heard her. It was Gwen. I yelled for Gwen and desperately asked the Goblin, where is she? Oh no, not Gwen. The Goblin repeatedly pummels me with punches and kicks until I landed in Spider-Holland's room. I saw a chair and a woman tied up facing the window. It was Gwen. I quickly get on my feet, trying to grab her as she screams desperately for help. I was fighting the dizziness as I heard her cries. But Goblin kept me away from her. He kicked my knees so I could not walk. I webbed Gwen, but I accidentally made the chair fall upon pulling. The Goblin then choked me into submission. See her bag? Those are some loaded bombs, haha, said Goblin as I freaked out when a couple of bombs fell from Gwen's pouch. I yell and resist, but I am too weak. As the Goblin laughs and tells that one push of a button, and all of us would die. Also mentioning that this bomb has more firepower. Peter, save me. Gwen yells. As the Goblin laughs continuously, stating that this is getting too dramatic. The Goblin stabbed me with his sword at my leg and he stood up. I think these bombs are too overrated as he gets to bomb and toss it through the window. He is a madman. The bomb exploded at the streets, destroying the walls of the apartment and a ton of cars parked outside. I got relieved for a moment and starts to struggle into walking to Gwen, but my leg is badly bleeding. I could see outside that people are gathering to see what is happening. Police arrived, but Electro keeps killing anyone that crosses his perimeter around the house. That is dark, dude. Stop this madness, Harry. This doesn't need to end like this. I'm sorry, I yelled as I crawled to Gwen, struggling. I looked into Gwen. She is looking at me, crying. Don't worry, buddy, it won't end that way, said Harry as he was about to grab Gwen. I quickly knew that he was about to kill her. I used all of my remaining strength to web Goblin, pulled him into me. He fell into the floor near to my feet. I had the chance to grapple him into submission. He was laying on the ground, and I caught his neck by my thighs. But then he stabbed me again with his sword, on the same wound. I yelled in pain as he laughs, mocking me, and yelling, "If you would want this to stop, then you should kill me. Or else you'll bleed to death and I'll kill this woman." That moment was brutal. I have no choice, so I strangled him. His face turning red as he laughs, he also pushed the sword more, piercing my legs. The wound is getting larger and more blood is coming out. You are running out of time, Peter. Come on, buddy, choose, whispered the goblin while smiling at me. I screamed in terror and anger. I had no choice but to end this. Oh. I tightened my grip more and more. And more. And smashed his chest. The stabbing stops. His body fell. He is dead. Hold up, that's completely horrible for a Spider-Man story. Exactly, that broke his moral code. Not so much friendly neighbor Spider-Man would be horrified, and at the same time, the public and his fans would be scared, making him a real menace. And so, I limp around, took off the sword from the large wound of my leg, and webbed up my wound so the blood stops from going out. But, as I looked into Gwen, she was gone. What? Where is she then? There was no Gwen, it was only a dummy. As I shake my head into consciousness, my vision cleared. There was a huge hole in the wall, and a ton of people were watching from the other building. Cameras are up. I then realized that the smoke that the goblin used was a fear hallucinogen. Plot twist, everybody. It caused my fear to show, and he staged the whole thing up, just for the people to show that I am a killer. Everybody saw how I killed the goblin. As I looked to Harry, my buddy, lying dead on the floor, Electro suddenly landed in front of me. "You are not the hero the people know of anymore," said Electro. I was still shaken. I can't believe I killed my best friend. I can't believe I have killed someone. And all was watching. It was really hard for a friendly hero to be dark, though. I quickly grabbed the goblin's gauntlet and sprayed the same smoke to the Electro. He stumbled into the ground, yelling and shaking. And as soon as I exit the place, the whole crowd was afraid. I looked at them. Fear is what their eyes displays. I just stood there, looking at the crowd who knew I am a hero, now looking at me as a dangerous man. My heart is pounding hard, as I leap into the air, running away from the terror, and starts to hide.